everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So today I'm making the video finally about difficult placements for love and relationships in astrology, okay? So this video is for everyone with struggles in relationships, and I'm going to divide the different aspects, talk about it, and how to overcome obstacles in relationships or having a relationship. Maybe you have trouble choosing a partner, okay? Maybe you have trouble to find someone that's going to stay with you, or maybe you have trouble staying with someone else. And always there's a deeper reason why this is happening. And I'm not only going to talk about the experience and perspective from astrology, I will also add my own experiences to this, because I myself have very difficult placements, and that's why I made it my life's work to help other people with difficult placements in astrology. And I want to teach other people how to overcome that. And that's why I'm an intuitive astrologer. I not only look at your placements, but I also want to give practical advice on how to break these cycles, because the beginning is knowing them and the second step is to work with them. So ultimately you can meet the love of your life, or you can be in a relationship, and especially important, you can be in a healthy relationship, okay? Obviously there's a part of timing, but also to catch this timing, we need to be ready so we can attract someone that's gonna align with your frequency. So your relationships are mirroring something that you need to learn, okay? So they are presenting an opportunity for you to heal something within yourself, okay? And I'm going to dive deeper in that. So I want to name a few placements that I'm going to talk about today, okay? That is Venus square Pluto. I did make a video about it already, so you can check that out as well. Venus square Saturn, made a video about it. These are all aspects, right, that could lead to either toxic partnerships, or it will take longer to attract the right person, especially when Saturn is involved. So Saturn in the 7th house, or Capricorn in the 7th house, and a heavily aspected Saturn could also lead to later in life to have a relationship, okay? Because Saturn is activated more or less around 35, depending on your level of maturity, okay? So it doesn't mean you will never meet someone. It just means you have to put a bit more effort and maturity in order to meet someone, right? Same with Venus square Saturn. Then there's an aspect, the South Node, and the South Node has to do with your past lives. So if you have, for example, Jupiter conjunct the South Node, it could mean that, and this is more for women, okay? For men, it could be Venus conjunct the South Node, right? That's for both women and men, but it could mean that it will take longer for you to meet someone, or you meet someone from a past life, okay? Unfinished business with someone from a past life. And depending on your placement, is this someone that you have karma with, or is this a soulmate from a past life where you finish things with, okay? And very interesting is that, and this is because I have this aspect myself. So I have Jupiter conjunct the South Node and Venus. That's a package. Plus I have Venus square Pluto, and Pluto is on my ascendant, and Venus is on the South Node with Jupiter. So that's a lot of karma. And also when you have Venus on the South Node, it means you have spent many lifetimes experiencing love. So subconsciously your soul does not necessarily want to learn this in this lifetime, okay? So it's really like, okay, I've been there, done that, and I don't want to necessarily experience that, even though you maybe know how to deal with it, okay? So I have spent a lot of time by myself. I've spent a lot of time figuring out why I was attracting people that weren't good for me. Or maybe in the past, I wasn't good for people, because you also have to be very open and honest with yourself, okay? And this is requiring a lot of maturity and a lot of growth, okay? So I'm going to later split up the aspects. So Saturn in the 7th house, Saturn in the 5th house is another difficult aspect, because it could mean that you're more serious, right? You're less outgoing, you're less into dating. You don't want to do all of those things, you know? You prefer to be in a relationship right away. You don't want to date many people and choose someone, right? And then we have actually the North Node and Venus. And this means you attract many people. And who are you going to choose if you attract so many people? Venus is new to you. And when you have Venus on the North Node, you have this charm, because the North Node is going to enhance your beauty. So you're going to attract a lot of people to you, but you're not going to feel fully satisfied with the people around you, because you haven't fully integrated Venus yet, right? The South Node has integrated Venus, therefore doesn't need to look for it, therefore is also not fully satisfied, because you're like, I want spiritual love, especially if you have it placed in water signs. I want spiritual love. I want unconditional super love, okay? And the North Node is like, not enough, not enough. I want more. I want to experience all of Venus. This is new. This is fun, right? Not saying that this has to be the outcome, right? It's about the lesson that needs to be learned with these aspects. Then we have the South Node and the North Node in the 7th house. So the 7th house is about marriage, long-term commitments, and the 5th house is about dating. This is about having fun. So the real commitment is the 7th house, okay? And doesn't matter if it's marriage or not, but long-term commitment is the 7th house, just like business partnership. But that's another thing. We're talking just about love. So Saturn in the 7th house or Pluto in the 7th house, okay? Attracting people where you have power struggles with. This is similar to Venus square Pluto, okay? Obsession, lust, and all these kind of things. What else? What else? Yes, the last one I want to discuss is Venus square Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer. There's a massive potential for healing, but somehow love hurts a little bit for you, okay? You need to heal the wounds of love. And somehow it feels like you can never feel fully satisfied, okay? So I did give a small introduction there. Also, what I've seen could potentially be an obstacle is Pluto square Mars, because this creates a lot of power and a lot of lust, okay? And all these aspects, of course, you can have good aspects and bad aspects. So it really depends the weight of the planets, the weight of the signs, and all of these things. So I'm going to generalize the heavy aspects. If you have a lot of good aspects as well, you will see that you can go towards the good ones. But I always say, don't forget about the bad ones, right? And for everything, there is a solution. And that's why you can go above your chart. That's possible. But that requires a lot of healing, a lot of self-work, right? And before that, you're going to have to deal with your blueprint and your astrology chart, okay? It's not so easy to go above your chart. That is after a lot of self-healing and a lot of meditation and all these kind of things, okay? So that's why I love to work with both astrology to see what you need to learn and how to overcome it, because avoiding your lessons is only gonna make it longer. And you know, you can also remove blocks, but still you have to face it to see it, and then you can let it go, if that makes sense. So let's start with the first placement that I want to discuss. Let's start with Venus square Saturn. I made a video about it, but Venus square Saturn, this is related to, it's kind of like a lack of self-love, okay? A pain of I'm not good enough. Because there's this heaviness from Saturn that is telling you like, how much work do I need to put in to be loved? Because Saturn feels like it has to work hard, and it requires hard work. But also you're gonna have to, because Venus is about love, it's about beauty, and Saturn makes it heavy. And you think that you don't deserve love, not being good enough. And this is where your healing takes place. If you understand that you, like everybody else, deserves love, you can overcome this obstacle, okay? And that requires maybe to look within, or to maybe work a little bit hard on understanding why you lack the confidence and the self-love to really feel loved, okay? And where can you naturally align yourself with your Venus? How can you express it? And what are the obstacles? So look at the sign, look at the house where Saturn is at. That's where you can work on in order to feel more fulfilled. But ultimately, you are deserving of love just by being here. And that's what you have to understand, okay? So then we have Venus square Pluto. So Venus square Pluto. Pluto is rules the 8th house, right? Scorpio. It's about sex, transformation. And this can bring lust, a preference for lust over love, and also a lack of boundaries, right? It's either to control or to be controlled, because the square has extremes, right? And it's like, in order to love, I need to give up my power. Or in order to love, I need to control the other person. And once you have this fine line in the middle, where you don't control, and where you don't lose your power, and you have your boundaries, and you stay with your own personality, this is the fine line in between where you can be in a healthy relationship. Because as long as you don't carry your power, or you carry too much power, you're gonna attract either a person that's very narcissistic and is very all about power, is gonna control you, or you're gonna be the one controlling someone else, and you're not attracted to that, because you're gonna have someone that is not gonna keep their personality, and you're gonna be done and walk away. So the fine line is to integrate Venus and integrate your boundaries and practice them. What do you like? What don't you like? And also control, not control, how do you say it? Align the trust in people, right? If you meet someone and you feel something is off, that's for a reason, okay? If you feel weird about it, work on your self-love, because there is some deep-rooted lack of self-love that maybe you didn't get when you were younger. You didn't understand what love was. And the same with me, right? There was a lot of control in my household that I didn't know what love is and how to be in a relationship even. I was completely unaware, like how to be in a relationship. How does that work, right? And not knowing that you should be with someone that's like your friend. And the romance grows with loving that person, understanding what is love, and not lust and status and power, okay? And this is also similar to Pluto in the 7th house. So someone with Pluto in the 7th house is very attracted to someone with power, status, okay? And you might be attracting people that make you look good instead of having someone who has an integrated Pluto. So a well-integrated Pluto is someone that is there to transform others and uses their power for the good, right? To transform, to help others. And there's definitely different levels to Pluto, like there are different levels to Scorpio. It's the only sign with 3 layers. So you have to figure out the Pluto in the other person. It has to be someone that is self-aware and worked on themselves, because otherwise you're going to have someone, once again, there is a huge toxic, grandiose or narcissistic element to an unresolved Pluto. I just can take whatever I want. So you need to be aware and really choose someone that is maybe have these traits, but has a well-integrated Pluto and is not there to control and tell you what to do, and where you lose yourself in the other person. So once again, it's possible to be in a healthy relationship. You just have to be aware why you're attracted to someone, and maybe you have to integrate Pluto in yourself, right? In order to attract a healthy relationship. So that's with Pluto in the 7th house. Then we have Saturn in the 7th house, okay? And this usually is maybe you have a disinterest to be in a relationship, or the level of maturity that you're looking into someone is not there yet. It is integrated on a later age. You could also be attracted to older people, right? Like people who have matured. So Saturn in the 7th house, you could be younger, but you could be dating someone who's older, or you could be getting married later, after 35 or after 33. I don't recommend you to get married around Saturn return. It's just not the best timing, especially the first one, okay? The second one is you already integrated your lessons, and Saturn is less heavy after 35. So keep that in mind. It applies for the first Saturn return, okay? And it's not impossible, okay, to be in a relationship. You can be in a relationship long-term without getting married. Get married after your Saturn return. This is just very important to remember, because Saturn will be activated during the Saturn return, and it will just become quite heavy, okay? It will become quite heavy for you. Yeah, so it's about commitment and hard work and understanding that relationships are not always meant to be easy. Sometimes someone is there to present to you certain lessons. The more you integrated your lessons, the easier your relationship will become, or the person you attract. Maybe you have to go through a few relationships to really understand what it is that you truly want, you truly need from a relationship, okay? And then you can meet someone at your level. The highest form of Saturn is someone mature, someone who's all for commitment, and maybe even someone that is going to work with you, or you feel like is awakening your ambition and hard work within you, okay? That's what you kind of are attracted to. Saturn in the 5th house. This is someone more serious, right? 5th house is kind of where you have fun, where you're like expressing yourself, and maybe you feel uncomfortable fully expressing yourself, and therefore people misunderstand you. They don't really see you for who you are. So when you start to date, you're maybe more stiff or introverted, and that's not who you truly are. But when you were little, you were told that you have to behave a certain way. You have to choose a life path that's gonna, you know, maybe just work, or do some, you don't, you know, don't have fun. That's not necessary. Or you were raising your parents, and you don't know any better than being the caretaker of other people and a bit more serious when others are having fun, okay? So when you're dating, you can't fully express yourself, or you just have no interest in dating at all. You just want to meet someone and, you know, be together on a long term, right? Depending on your 7th house. It's just the process of meeting someone is more difficult for you. So in order to overcome that, work on your self-expression. This is your key, okay, for Saturn in the 5th house. Jupiter conjunct the South Node. Jupiter is also husband, and the South Node is past life. So this is more a placement for women, because this could be that you are attracting like people that are going away, constantly going away. And there's this very interesting thing in Vedic astrology, and I'm a Western astrologer, okay? I have Jupiter, Venus, South Node conjunction. And during my Jupiter period, they call it Jupiter Mahadasha, it activated my Jupiter with my South Node. And I kept meeting people that were leaving me, or I was leaving them. Their visa expired and they had to leave, or they suddenly decided they don't want to be with me. And it was really crushing, right? Like heartbreaking, right? So if you're in a period in the Vedic astrology related to Venus, if it's with the South Node, or Jupiter, you will attract people that constantly don't match with your expectation. So what happened is, I was in this Jupiter period for 20 years, and I got out of it in October, and almost right after I met someone. Because I'm in a different period now, I'm in a Saturn period. Hard work, that's why I've been so busy, but I'm so grateful, and it activated a lot of beautiful things for me. But check that out, that's very interesting. And according to my own research, this Vedic astrology, you know, and you have to take the different system to calculate it. But I just didn't get why it wasn't working. But that was because Jupiter was with the South Node, and the South Node cuts things off, okay? So if you're in a Jupiter period and you're a woman, or you're in a Venus period, right? And you're a man, and it's just impossible to meet the right person, it's because of that. Only the person that could stay in this period is someone very, very spiritual, or someone from a past life, okay, that you have unfinished business with. So you could meet one person you have unfinished business with, but you could also meet many people you have unfinished business with, okay? And it could result in a soulmate. But with the South Node, you want someone very, very spiritual, okay? And then the South Node in the 7th house, you are someone, you've been in relationships in many lifetimes. And it could be that actually you're starting off with a relationship in this lifetime, but you are realizing later in life that maybe actually you want to be alone. So this could be the opposite situation, right? Whereas the North Node in the 7th house, these people keep attracting partners, and it will take a while before you actually want to settle. But this is actually because you don't want to. You're more naturally independent because you spend a lot of times with yourself, and you're like, why do I need to be with anyone? And you have to learn that. So you might switch partners before you realize that actually, okay, I can learn from someone else. I can be with someone, right? The same with the North Node and Venus. Is a similar situation. Doesn't matter which house, you're here to learn about Venus and to integrate Venus, and that's going to take time. So maybe you're going to overindulge, because when something is new, it feels forbidden, and you want to try, you know, let's try this, let's try that. And it will take a while before you gonna meet someone, right? With the South Node and Venus, you've been there and you're looking for this ultimate love that doesn't exist. So you're gonna have to understand that you not to settle, but like the love you're looking for is spiritual love. And once you find spiritual love, you can attract someone that also is into spirituality, especially with Jupiter south node of the Venus, or with the south node. You want someone that is also on a spiritual path, or at least is looking for the same unconditional love as you, because you're looking for a different kind of love, okay? So that's very, very interesting. And then we have Venus square Chiron. So Chiron is a pain we have that is always going to be there, but you're going to study it, you're going to observe it, and you're going to learn about it. And this pain will come up once in a while and could be uncomfortable. And that's why sometimes you're leaving, because there could be some abandonment issues, right? Same as Chiron in the 7th house. You may be ending up taking care of your partner, taking care of them, and then you forget about yourself, right? That's why you feel love is painful, because you feel like I have to overly give to be in a relationship. So you might just avoid it because you feel like, okay, I don't want to take care of anyone. I want to, you know, you feel like either you have to give all of you away to be in a relationship, or you can only be in a relationship when with yourself when you're single. So you're going to have to find the right boundaries of taking care of someone, but also taking care of yourself, because you yourself need to love. You need to love yourself first, okay? If you don't have the energy to take care of the other, you're going to first need to heal what's there, and then you can attract a partner, right? Because you might be attracting partners who have certain issues that you want to heal because you understand them, but actually they are reflecting the wounds that you have and you need to heal, okay? Same with Neptune in the 7th house. Some people attract partners that are drinking, right? Have drinking problems, or you put on pink colored glasses, and that's why you keep ending up in the wrong relationships, because Neptune is making it foggy. But on the highest potential, you attract a spiritual partner, okay? So these are a few aspects that are causing difficulties in relationships. I gave you some tips on how to heal them. Obviously, you have to book a private reading with me so we can have an even deeper discussion. I just want you to know that it's not impossible to attract someone. It's possible. You know, even I, with all the bad aspects that you could have to attract someone, I am in a relationship, so it's not impossible. And give yourself time. I know that I see you, I hear you. It's not uncommon, okay? And being by yourself is not a bad thing, because some people have to heal karma first. So you have to learn how to be by yourself, no matter what other people tell you. Because I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, you have to learn how to be by yourself first. And I got so pissed, because I was like, you've been in relationships all your life. What are you talking about? I've been by myself for most of the time, right? So they're right. They're right. But take it from yourself. Know what you need, right? Give yourself permission to be alone until you're fully healed, and practice. Practice dating. Practice reflecting, and see your behavior in relationships, because it's not always the other person. Sometimes it's us. When I was younger, I was so wounded, and that I hurt people because I wasn't fully healed. And then I went from being unaware to hyper aware, and I was healing others. I was like, you know, I can save you, I can do everything. And I went to my masculine energies. So obviously that's not sustainable. I had to learn how to be and stay in my feminine energies more, okay? That's another thing. Sometimes we take on the role of the partner and we leave no space for someone to help us. Hyper independence. I knew this illness. Super hyper independent. And then there are people that are super hyper dependent. And you're going to have to find the midway to be in a healthy relationship. People need to help you and be there for you. And also, if you're always leaning on someone, it's not very attractive. Have your own hobbies. Create your own fun. Don't lean fully on someone else. It's trapping them, okay? It's the fine line in the middle. And everybody's going to be more feminine and more masculine, okay? It's not about that. But one has to be this and the other has to be that. That is the same for same-sex relationships. There's always one more masculine and one more feminine. Because otherwise the relationship doesn't work. Yin and yang, okay? You're going to have to be opposites in some ways. And, you know, in many aspects, people settle too soon. Not being picky enough or being too picky. Any extremes are gonna bring in partners you don't want, right? Thinking nobody is good enough for you. And then there's the other extreme that you're just gonna settle with everyone and you keep going through relationship after relationship because you're not learning the lesson that maybe you don't need someone. You can be first alone. And then you're going to meet someone that's going to love you for who you are. Because how can somebody love you for who you are if you don't love yourself? You know, I'm with my partner. I don't even know what's their favorite food or what are the quirky traits. It's actually the quirky traits that people fall in love with. And you know what? For so long, I thought I need to behave a certain way to be loved. I needed to put on a mask to be loved. And that's not gonna last on the long term. Because people are gonna figure it out. You better present yourself the way you are. Right? Because then people can fall in love with you. But if you're putting on a facade and, you know, I had this feeling I have to be perfect. And of course, that attracts a lot of people at the beginning, but then later you're like, oh, this person has no flaws. So polished and perfect. Yeah. It's not attractive, right? You need to have your quirky traits. What do you like? So first, know yourself. Like, what do I love to do in my spare time? And you don't need to have a career or anything. You just need to have your hobbies, your interests, and know, like, you want to share with someone what you are feeling and what you are thinking. And with Saturn, what I've seen is these people are not, especially if you also have Saturn with in a square with Mercury, you have difficulty opening up. Communication is so important. If you're not communicating with each other, how in the world can someone know what you're feeling? Like for me, I was so afraid of rejection with my Venus square Pluto that sometimes I bit my tongue and I didn't want to admit I like someone for the shame of being judged that I like someone, right? And I'm just being open about it because I know that I'm not the only one who has these thoughts coming up. Like I was just so wounded, so afraid for being judged, for just being me, for sharing how I'm feeling, for sharing what I'm thinking. And some guys walked away because I wasn't expressing my feelings. Or I was too much, going all in like a freaking volcano, right? Pluto, too intense, chill. One step at a time, get to know each other slowly. Okay, reveal yourself slowly. Don't go all in right away because what is the mystery about that, right? Okay, and I want to share with you my fears and mistakes and things. Not mistakes, because I learned a lot and I know now how to help others overcome these things, right? But it's just it's really important to know yourself, okay? And to analyze it, to break the patterns, and to be aware and to be honest, okay? I think I've talked enough, but I really, really hope this is helpful for you. And I want you to know that there is love for you. You can break the cycles, but you have to be open, honest, and reflective to yourself. And you have to allow the timing to be right. Some people have different charts from others. Yes, for some, relationships are easier than for others. It's true. I'm not gonna lie. Some charts are harder than others. It depends on what your soul needs to learn. So the faster you understand your patterns and work on them, and give yourself permission to give it time to heal, the more you are able to attract someone healthy. But you first have to understand, how can I become healthy in a relationship so you can be in a vibrational match with someone that is also in the same vibrational match as you. And you don't have to be perfect, but you need to be with someone that is willing to grow with you and learn with you, okay? So yeah, my inability for a long time to be in a healthy relationship, partly because of me, partly because of others, it brought me to so many lessons that now I can teach others. And I'm so grateful, so freaking grateful for all my experiences. And I want you to also see this life as a school of lessons and learning, and know that you can get there. You can get there, okay? So it's just about going through the uncomfortable and face what you have to face and make the space. Because for me, I wasn't able to be in a relationship because of my relationship with my mother. She was taking the place of the person that should have been next to me. So I had to make this super, super, super difficult decision. But that made space, not only in my life, but also in her life, to meet someone. Because sometimes a family member can take the spot that should go to your partner, right? Or you have friends that are taking the spot of your partner, and you need to create the space for them to come in. If there's no space and someone is taking that spot, and I had it with friends as well in the past, and that was not their fault. It was all mine. And I learned that it's never their fault. They just come into your life with how much you allow with your boundaries. So how good are your boundaries, right? The empath narcissist, yeah, of course. Wouldn't you go to someone that you know you can have it from, that it's easiest? You go to someone who's nice. You're not going to go to someone that's going to make it difficult for you. You're not going to ask someone for help that's always saying no. So you have to think about that. You have to filter and be kind, but spare your energy for the people that truly deserve it. And that's what I want to give to you. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much. Give this video a share, a like, or subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and you can book a reading with me as well if you want to discuss your love life, how we can break your patterns. I'm more than happy to help you, because how do you say that? Being happy for others is being happy for myself. Thank you so much. Bless you.